Hello everyone, this is Javier Correa, the Tax Terminator, live from Panama City, Panama, and I'm walking along this beautiful strip here. This is the oceanfront area of the city. This is called La Cinta Costera. I'm surrounded by beautiful Miami-style high-rise, glass buildings, and this is really wonderful. I've got the Pacific Ocean here on my left-hand side, and this is absolutely just gorgeous. And, as I was walking around Panama City today, and as I was meeting with several bankers and colleagues here in the tax world, CPAs, attorneys, and whatnot, one thing came to mind. Panama is actually a great destination for retirees. Yes, 100%. If you want to retire and you want to retire with a great quality of life, Florida-level lifestyle, but you want to save money on taxes, and you want to save money in cost of living, then definitely here in Panama, you're going to find a great combination that is really alluring for many retirees around the world. So, why choose Panama? So, tax friendliness is obviously a big one, right? If you are in Canada, in the US, you're in Western Europe, you've worked hard all your life, you've built up a business, you've built up an investment portfolio, you worked at a top level job as an executive, and now you want to come and you want to retire, well, isn't it great to know that as long as you keep your money, your hard-earned money abroad, and that you have foreign source income in the form of dividends, capital gains, interest, or anything of that nature, royalties maybe, all that income, as long as it's foreign sourced, will not be taxed in Panama. So number one, if you become a tax resident of Panama, obviously tax optimization is a big one. For Americans, unfortunately, yes, your passport does mean that the IRS is going to come with you anywhere you go, and that means it's going to come with you here to Panama. So you do have to remain compliant with the IRS and continue to file a 1040 every single year. But at least the good thing is that Panama will be a tax-neutral jurisdiction for you in many cases, meaning that you will only have to worry about Uncle Sam, you'll only have to worry about the IRS, you won't have to worry about Panama adding on some additional headaches to your life. So obviously, when we talk about tax optimization, that is very important. But when it is combined with low cost of living, then that's even better. So Panama is not cheap by Latin American standards, but it is very affordable when compared to the United States, Canada, and Western Europe. So if you have your income in your golden years, you have your investment income, your rental income, and you come here to Panama, those dollars are going to be stretched out even further, allowing you to reinvest more of your money, allowing you to travel home frequently to visit friends and family, or allowing you to fly your family here and maybe have the grandchildren visit you here in Panama. And hey, maybe that grandchild, once he sees this, he won't want to go back, and maybe he starts his remote online business here from Panama. So, why not? You'll be opening up a lot of scenarios for them. So that's also very good. Now, what I love about the treatment that retirees get here in Panama is that unlike other forms of obtaining residence, where in many cases you have to first go through 2 years of temporary residence and then you upgrade that to permanent residence, for retirees, Panama essentially offers permanent residence directly. So that is very, very good, meaning that if you're a retiree, you can essentially come here to Panama and become a permanent resident right away. That, in my view, is a privilege, and no more questions asked, really. As long as you have a retirement income in the form of a pension, and we'll get to that in a sec, what exactly qualifies, you're essentially good to go. You can get permanent residence here in Panama. Now, as a permanent resident, you are immediately on track for citizenship, which means that after 5 years of permanent residency here in Panama, you can become eligible to apply for naturalization. So once that occurs, you apply for naturalization, then you just have to wait for the government to go through the normal administrative processes. You do have to wait for the president and some high-level officials to actually sign your naturalization documents. But once that is done, boom, you're Panamanian. And in your golden years, maybe that second passport isn't the most valuable thing in the world, but listen, it's still a weapon that you can use. The more the merrier when it comes to passports. And the fact of having permanent residence or a passport here in such a tax-friendly, developed country, I think is worth gold. So in addition to being very affordable overall when it comes to groceries, utilities, and obviously being very good for tax optimization, the other thing that I love about Panama is how specifically luxury can be more affordable. So if you want that Florida lifestyle, you wanted to go down to Naples, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, you were really focusing on that area, for example, for retirement, you might want to reconsider, and you might want to put Panama as a possible contender on your map. And the reason for that is really the lifestyle you can have here is very akin to what you can have in Florida, but luxury living is far more affordable. So even an apartment in a nice area of town, in the nicest areas of town, surrounded by expats, in a peaceful oasis of tranquility, with parks that are pet friendly. So if you want to bring along that dog that's been with you for many years, this is a great place to bring him or her. You know, as a dog parent myself, one of the things that I value so much here in Panama is how pet friendly and specifically how dog friendly Panama City is. But anyway, even an apartment, beautiful apartment, large apartment with luxury amenities here in Panama, you could find it for maybe a couple of $100,000 or somewhere in the low seven figures. Whereas in Florida, that's increasingly rare and increasingly difficult to find. So definitely the affordability in terms of housing is pretty important. In addition to that, just think of all the activities. Like Panama is a major cultural center. If you want to go to the theater, you want to catch a movie, you want to do some shopping, definitely something you can do here. In addition to that, there are some beautiful islands out there in the Pacific called the Pearl Islands. You can hop on a boat, head out there and, enjoy crystalline, beautiful waters and just, enjoy the golden years as you are deserving of. So now let's talk a little bit about specifically what requirements your pension has to meet in order for you to qualify for the Pensionado Visa and to qualify for permanent residence immediately. So number one, you have to be a retiree, but it doesn't specify the age, meaning that technically speaking, a 30-year-old could be a retiree. It is rare, but I guess it does happen. So as a retiree, you can receive income from three sources here in Panama. Number one, which is I guess the most basic, the one most people have, is a state pension. So if you're in the US, for example, that Social Security check you get every month, that can qualify you for a Pensionado Visa. Number two, if you happen to have worked for an international organization, think the Red Cross, the United Nations, the OAS, any organization like that, the World Bank, the IMF, any organization like that with that profile that is giving you like a privately funded, institutionally funded pension, that could also work to get the Pensionado Visa here in Panama. And lastly, if you happen to have worked for several years for, let's say, a private institution, right? If that is the case, then it is also possible for you to get the Pensionado Visa here. Now, it is a bit more complicated because it's not as easy as saying, oh, I worked for this private company for this many years and I'm getting a check from them and that's it. You really have to prove that that pension exists. Therefore, in many cases, they will require the private company to actually team up and deposit the funds and have an insurance company or a bank be sort of like the institution that guarantees that that pension actually exists and that you will be receiving the checks or the wire transfers every single month. The other element that you have to consider is that the pension has to be for life, meaning that it can't be an annuity payment that will then expire, within 3 or 5 years. It has to really be an income that is guaranteed to be received by you until the moment of your passing. So that is also very important to consider. Now, let's talk amounts. Javier, how much do I have to earn in pension income in order to actually qualify for the Pensionado Visa here in Panama? That's a question I get all the time. And the answer is simple. $1,000 US dollars in monthly income you need to receive in order to qualify for the Pensionado Visa. If you want to bring your spouse along, if you want to bring some children along, as long as they qualify, the criteria is simple. $250 additionally to the $1,000 I mentioned originally, and that's all you need. You essentially need $1,000 for yourself as the main applicant and $250 for each dependent, and you can bring them along and you can bring them here to beautiful Panama, and where they can all take advantage of the territoriality, the low cost of living, the great weather, Florida style, but at a fraction of the cost. So if you're in your golden years and you're looking for that ideal place to retire and you're thinking that Florida perhaps may be too expensive, then hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, subscribe to this YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram for more videos like these. And until then, this is the Tax Terminator signing off.